Gacha Mini Movies are probably the most popular content in the community. There's an insane amount of Gacha Life Mini Movies on YouTube that get uploaded every day, really. But when taking a closer inspection, we start seeing a lot of problems that I'll be talking about today. We'll be diving into the problems of this space and what you could do to make your mini movies better. Let's get into it. But before getting into this, I am hosting a Gacha Life Mini Movie and art contest for my 1000 subscribers special. If you're interested in joining, check this video out for the rules and any additional information. Hope to see your entry. Well, for one, something you just notice at a glance is just how short they are. Like, dude, 10 minutes? Do you know how short 10 minutes are? With the amount of characters you add? How are you developing your characters, building the plot, explore the systems you impose, resolve every plot point created? I mean, it is almost impossible. Of course, there are ways to do it, but you'll need a very specific type of storytelling, which is possible when you're more of an expert. But no, for Gacha users specifically, 10 minutes doesn't allow you to do anything significant really. 20 minutes is also pretty hard to work with, but you know, definitely more doable than anything less. Movie length has to be determined by multiple crucial criteria. How many characters you introduce, their overall roles in the story, the layout of your plot, what happens in the actual story, what your characters go through and how it changes them. This is like as bread and butter as it gets, and something I highly suggest beginner writers. Make small stories of this sort. Try developing the characters, enriching the plot, make a satisfying storyline, and then ask for feedback. It is also crucial to be humble. Not everything you make is perfect. Stuff has to be changed, stuff has to be improved, looked at from a different light, and etc. If you want to get to a point where you want to make actual good 10-minute mini movies, then you will need this process. If you really want to improve, then you will need this. Be harsh with yourself. Be realistic. Be humble. Be aware that you're in constant need of improvement. That's how I do it, personally, to simply improve. Tough love is the best love. But anyway, tangent aside, do not fucking make 10-minute mini movies if you're really making them as a form of art and work. Most are garbage. Sorry, not sorry. Just face the fucking truth, man. My first mini movie was 12 minutes. It has more than 20k views somehow, and it's absolute garbage. Shit that actually make you kill yourself. I almost did. But anyways, mini movies, even when longer than 10 minutes, still have crucial problems. There is barely any development towards the characters, their depths don't deepen outside of their usual personality, the relationships with the other characters aren't in any way better. I mean, it is overall bad. Se mueve. When writing characters, take into account where they start and where you want them to end up. Target their flaws, target their strengths, and expand all of it to interact with the active plot. That's how you really get that feeling of them actually making changes in the story. Characters developing and the plot advancing because of them, and not just things happening to them because the plot needs it. If your characters are not interesting and on top of it they don't do anything to change that, then of course they're gonna feel stagnant and boring to follow. Like, bro, basta. Still here? Wow, am I that interesting? Comment to let me know and make sure to like and subscribe on the way too. Since we're on the topic of intrigueness, premises often fail to be exactly that. Gacha mini movies have a hard time just keeping you in. The plot doesn't make you want to continue the story and keep watching. It's usually the main character preparing to go to school or just doing inconsequential stuff that won't amount to much later in the story. There are also many mini movies that start with the MC's backstory at a young age getting bullied or something of the sort, which at least is trying, but gets repetitive in every sense of the way. Characters across mini movies just start being copies of each other and the plots all converge into a similar ending. It's just such an overused premise that it's just not interesting anymore. Premises are meant to open new doors for you, make you able to do things that haven't been done before in media, and expand intricate and unique ideas. Using overused premises isn't necessarily bad, but then the plot has to follow after. It also needs to hook in the audience. Here's a piece of advice. MCs that wake up and are scrambling to dress, go to school and all that jazz is generally getting annoying and isn't interesting in any way, and doesn't lead the story anywhere, unless the character has some sort of quirkiness to them or a unique trait that is showcased there. It's also just a waste of an introduction. You have so many other ways in which you can introduce a story. The start has to give the audience the overall vibe and tone of the story, an idea of what the plot will be, a hooking introduction to the MC, and an overall interest in the story. It's one of the most important aspects to a story, which is why you must extensively think about it, because it really tailors the rest of the story. Personally, I have a project I've been working on for a while. I still don't have a clear idea of how my story will start. It is very difficult, even at the level of writing I personally find myself in. However, for my game project, you should definitely join the applications in the description. I already have a vision of how it will start, because I have all of the criteria that is crucial to making a hooking premise. You really have to view all of the project's strengths and know what will interest the audience. Finally, well, the characters just aren't interesting and have almost no personality. And it really feels like they're all the same. All have the same type of humor with no changes. They all kind of act alike unless there's a clear contrast in characters that is being portrayed. It's really bad. And I think this stems from writers not yet knowing how to separate themselves from their characters. Obviously, some characters will resemble people from real life and even possibly the creators, but there needs to be a clear line between consistent characterization and just modifying the character's core traits to fit whatever plot. Characters need to have their own personality. So shocking. They need to have their own flaws, their own set of experiences that sets them apart. They need to react differently from each other to all sorts of events. They need to have their own type of humor that is consistent with their personality. You must take all of that into account before writing. And remember, they don't necessarily need to be likable. They just need to give the audience an incentive to follow their story, to just get into it. Characters are like the most important thing to a story ever. They should be the ones directing the plot, making events in the story, subvert expectations, create confusion, make us emotional. They're everything. If your premise isn't interesting, then your characters better be the things keeping it afloat. With that said, join my game! I'm making a new Gacha visual novel game using the assets of Gacha Story. Auditions for the characters are soon opening, so stay on the lookout. And if you'd like to be a part of the project, I have applications in the description for the roles you will see here on screen. Bro, you better join, please. We cool peoples on the server. These were the overall problems with mini movies in the community. Is it gonna get better anytime soon? Not really. But these videos have the intention of leading you into the right path. Many others are doing the same around the community, so you guys can have the opportunity to showcase your art, like Gacha Fest, directly intended to nominate projects and showcase them to a hopefully bigger audience. Absolutely check it out. With that said, hope you enjoyed the video, and until we see each other again, ciao. Oh my fucking god, get out!